Welcome to Drift Off and Discover, your calm place to unwind as we explore the history of bubble bath. Before we begin, a brief note for your safety. Please do not listen to this wander through history while driving or operating machinery. Only listen when you're somewhere you can relax safely and completely. As you settle in and let the day fall away, allow your breath to soften and your shoulders to release their quiet tension. Tonight we drift into a story shaped by warmth, comfort, and the gentle shimmer of rising foam. A story that begins with simple water and evolves into something soft and fragrant and deeply soothing. The history of bubble bath is not only a tale of bathing, but a reflection of how people across time have sought comfort, ease, and a moment of peaceful escape. From ancient cleansing rituals to the sparkling baths of the modern world, the journey of bubbles in water is filled with quiet transformations and tender details. So let your body grow still and your mind grow spacious. Imagine warm water gathering around you, the surface calm and inviting, ready to carry you through centuries of gentle evolution. When you are ready, we will begin. Long before bubbles ever danced across the surface of a bath, people understood the deep comfort of warm water. In ancient civilizations, bathing was not simply a task of cleanliness, but a moment of restoration. The earliest baths were quiet pools carved from stone or shaped from clay, warmed by the sun or by carefully tended fires. In ancient Egypt, water was seen as a gift of renewal. People stepped into shallow basins filled with warm water scented with crushed flowers and oils. The surface shimmered with natural sheen, reflecting the soft glow of lamps. There were no bubbles yet, only the gentle swirl of aromatic oils drifting across the water. In Mesopotamia, bathing was woven into daily life. Clay tablets describe warm baths used to soothe the body after long days of work. The water was often infused with herbs, creating a faint cloud of fragrance that rose with the steam. Farther east, in ancient India, bathing was a spiritual act. Water was believed to purify both body and mind. People bathed in rivers, in stone pools, and in simple vessels filled with warm water. The surface remained still, touched only by ripples from movement. Across these early cultures, the bath was a place of calm reflection. The idea of bubbles had not yet arrived, but the desire for comfort and sensory ease was already deeply rooted. Warm water alone was enough to soothe the body and quiet the mind. This ancient relationship with bathing laid the foundation for everything that would follow. The journey toward bubble bath began with the simple understanding that water could hold a person in comfort, offering a moment of peace in a busy world. As centuries passed, people began to experiment with ways to enhance the bathing experience. The earliest soaps were rough and earthy, made from animal fats mixed with ashes. They were practical and cleansing, but they did not create the soft foam we know today. In ancient Babylon, soap making was recorded on clay tablets. These early soaps produced only the faintest hint of bubbles, a thin layer of froth that vanished almost as soon as it appeared. Still, it was a beginning. The Romans refined the art of bathing, building vast bathhouses with warm pools, cool pools, and fragrant oils. They used soap occasionally, but preferred scraping the skin with smooth tools after oiling the body. Foam was not yet part of the ritual. In the Middle Ages, soap making became more sophisticated. Soap makers discovered that certain plant ashes created a smoother, more effective soap. These soaps produced a little more lather, especially when agitated in warm water. People began to notice the pleasant sensation of tiny bubbles forming between their hands. Still, the idea of filling an entire bath with bubbles remained far in the future. Foam was a fleeting companion, appearing only during washing and disappearing quickly. Yet the seeds were planted. People were beginning to associate bubbles with cleanliness, freshness, and a gentle sensory pleasure. The world was slowly moving toward a new kind of bathing experience, one that would eventually transform the surface of water into a soft landscape of foam. By the 19th century, bathing had become a ritual of comfort and refinement in many parts of the world. Indoor plumbing was spreading, and the bathtub was becoming a familiar presence in homes. Victorian households embraced the idea of bathing as a moment of personal indulgence. Bath additives became popular, from scented salts to herbal infusions. People sprinkled dried flowers into warm water, creating a fragrant surface that drifted gently around the body. Soap makers began experimenting with new formulas. Some soaps produced more lather than before, especially when mixed with warm water and oils. The foam was still modest, but it lingered a little longer. Magazines of the era described luxurious baths filled with scents of lavender, rose, and citrus. Illustrations showed women reclining in deep tubs, surrounded by steam and soft light. The bath was becoming a sanctuary, a place to retreat from the noise of the world. Although bubbles were not yet the star of the experience, the Victorian era created the emotional foundation for bubble bath. People were learning to associate bathing with relaxation, sensory pleasure, and a gentle escape from daily life. The stage was set for the next transformation, one that would bring foam to the forefront and turn the bath into a landscape of soft, floating bubbles. The early 20th century brought scientific advances that changed the world of bathing forever. Chemists discovered new ways to create soaps that produced abundant foam. These new formulas were smoother, lighter, and far more capable of creating bubbles that lasted. Synthetic detergents emerged, offering even more lather than traditional soaps. These detergents could create a thick layer of bubbles that floated across the surface of warm water, shimmering in the light. Manufacturers began to experiment with liquid soaps, which mixed easily into bath water. When poured under running water, these liquids created a cascade of bubbles that filled the tub. For the first time, people could sink into a bath surrounded by a soft landscape of foam. The bubbles clung to the skin, drifted across the surface, and created a sense of playful comfort. Advertisements of the era celebrated this new experience. Images showed tubs overflowing with white foam, promising relaxation and luxury. The bubble bath had arrived, and it quickly became a beloved part of modern bathing culture. The simple act of adding a fragrant liquid to warm water transformed the bath into something magical. The surface of the water was no longer still. It was alive with tiny spheres of air and soap, each one catching the light and reflecting it softly. By the mid-20th century, bubble bath had become a household staple. Bottles of brightly coloured liquid lined bathroom shelves, each promising a soothing escape. Families embraced bubble baths as a way to make bathing more enjoyable. Children delighted in the mountains of foam, while adults found comfort in the warm, fragrant water. Manufacturers introduced a wide range of scents, from calming lavender to refreshing citrus. Some formulas created dense, creamy bubbles that lasted for the entire bath. Others produced light, airy foam that drifted gently across the surface. The bubble bath became a symbol of relaxation. Advertisements showed people sinking into deep tubs filled with foam, their eyes closed, their bodies at ease. The bath was no longer just a place to get clean. It was a place to unwind, to breathe, and to let the world fade away. This era cemented the bubble bath as a cherished ritual. It became a moment of personal care, a small luxury that anyone could enjoy. The sound of water filling the tub, the scent rising with the steam, and the soft touch of bubbles against the skin created an experience that felt both comforting and indulgent. As bubble bath continued to evolve, manufacturers began to focus on the sensory experience. Fragrance became a central element. People could choose scents that matched their mood, from calming florals to warm spices and fresh herbal blends. Colour was introduced, tinting the water with soft hues that enhanced the atmosphere. Pale pinks, gentle blues, and warm ambers created a visual landscape that complemented the bubbles floating on the surface. Some bubble baths included nourishing oils to soften the skin. Others added botanical extracts to create a sense of natural calm. The bath became a multi-sensory experience. The warm water embraced the body. The fragrance drifted through the air. The bubbles formed a soft cushion on the surface. The colours created a gentle glow beneath the foam. People began to see the bath as a form of self-care. It was a moment to slow down, to breathe deeply, and to reconnect with a sense of inner quiet. The bubble bath was no longer just a product. It was an experience crafted with intention and care. Behind the gentle beauty of bubble bath lies a fascinating world of science. A bubble is a delicate sphere of air surrounded by a thin film of water and soap. This film stretches and curves, creating the shimmering surface that catches the light. When bubble bath liquid is poured under running water, the movement of the water traps air and mixes it with the soap. The soap molecules arrange themselves in a way that stabilizes the bubbles, allowing them to float on the surface for long periods. The warmth of the water helps the bubbles form more easily. The temperature softens the soap film, making it flexible and resilient. The bubbles gather together, forming clusters that drift gently across the surface. Some are small and delicate, while others grow larger and more rounded. Each bubble reflects the light in a slightly different way, creating a soft shimmer that moves with the water. This simple scientific process creates a sensory experience that feels almost magical. The bubbles create a layer of softness between the body and the air, enhancing the feeling of warmth and comfort. Understanding the science behind bubbles does not diminish their charm. Instead, it reveals the quiet elegance of something that seems so simple, yet brings so much calm. Bubble baths have long held a place in popular culture. Films, advertisements, and artwork often depict scenes of deep tubs filled with foam, symbolizing relaxation and indulgence. In the mid-20th century, glamorous images of bubble-filled baths became iconic. They represented a moment of escape, a way to step away from the demands of daily life. Children's books and illustrations often showed playful scenes of bubbles floating through the air, adding a sense of joy to the ritual of bathing. In modern times, social media has embraced the bubble bath as a symbol of self-care. Images of softly lit bathrooms, warm water, and fragrant foam have become a visual shorthand for taking time to rest and recharge. The bubble bath has become more than a product. It is a cultural symbol of comfort, calm, and personal sanctuary. It represents the simple pleasure of sinking into warm water and letting the world grow quiet. As people became more mindful of wellness and natural ingredients, bubble bath formulas began to evolve once again. Manufacturers introduced products made with plant-based ingredients, gentle cleansers, and essential oils. These formulas created soft, lasting bubbles while being kind to the skin. Scents inspired by nature became popular. Lavender fields, citrus groves, and forest-inspired blends filled bathrooms with calming aromas. Some bubble baths were designed to support relaxation, using ingredients known for their soothing properties. Others focused on creating a spa-like experience at home, with rich foam and luxurious textures. The modern bubble bath reflects a desire for balance and well-being. It is a moment to pause, to breathe, and to reconnect with a sense of inner calm. The bubbles create a soft barrier between the body and the world, offering a gentle escape from the noise of daily life. Today, bubble baths come in countless forms. There are classic liquid formulas, rich foaming creams, and even powders that transform into clouds of bubbles when added to warm water. People use bubble baths to unwind after long days, to create a peaceful bedtime routine, or simply to enjoy a moment of quiet comfort. The future of bubble bath continues to evolve. Innovations in fragrance, texture, and natural ingredients promise new sensory experiences. Some products focus on sustainability, using biodegradable formulas and environmentally friendly packaging. Yet at its heart, the bubble bath remains what it has always been: a moment of warmth, a moment of softness, a moment to drift away from the world and into a space of gentle calm. The bubbles rise and gather, forming a soft landscape that invites the mind to rest. The warm water holds the body in comfort. The fragrance drifts through the air like a quiet whisper of peace. The story of bubble bath is a story of seeking comfort, of finding stillness, and of embracing the simple pleasure. As this journey through the history of bubble bath comes to a close, allow the calm to linger. Imagine the warm water settling into stillness, the bubbles slowly drifting into gentle shapes, the fragrance softening in the air. You have travelled through centuries of comfort, from ancient pools to modern tubs filled with fragrant foam. Each step of the story reflects a timeless desire for rest, warmth, and ease. Let your breath slow, let your thoughts soften, let the quiet embrace you. When you are ready, you may drift into sleep or simply rest in the peaceful space you have created. Thank you so much for sharing this quiet moment with me. If you'd like more bedtime stories like this, then please subscribe now. And if there's a topic you'd love to hear as you drift off, let me know in the comments. Sleep well and be safe.